As deflated as a week-old balloon, NC State football gets blown out on the road at Pittsburgh.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Wolfpack Nation? It's time to get locked in with Locked On. Thanks for making Locked On Wolfpack your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Our Monday show is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. This might come in handy as Will Wade and the NC State basketball team is nearly just a week away. Head on over to Gametime to get started today. As always, terms apply. What's up, Wolfpack Nation? My name is Grayson Boone, and I will be flying this thing solo for us here on Monday. Kenton will return for the remainder of the week, so we'll keep this one relatively short and sweet. A 53-34 blowout loss on the road at the hands of the Pittsburgh Panthers on Saturday. Well, to be honest, what else is there really to say? It was a game where the NC State defense was completely non-existent. The Pitt Panthers got virtually anything they wanted on offense. Their true freshman quarterback, Mason Heinchel, was very impressive. I believe he set like a freshman record for passing yards in the first half with like 280. Gross to even think about how bad that was. But yeah, just a deflating loss. And we've talked at lengths about, and I really don't want to beat a dead horse on here. We all know where we all stand with the Wolfpack football program through 8 games, now 4-4. And of course, we're entering this game thinking, all right, on the road at Pittsburgh, we fared pretty well there the last couple times. This feels like a winnable game, especially because we're coming out of a bye, probably some much-needed rest. Time to refocus and get reset back on track. Let's see what we can do with this thing. And just from the jump, all the way to the very beginning, which means winning the coin toss, taking the ball, and then going 3 and out and Pitt scoring on the first drive. It's just like you almost knew instantly, oh, brother. Well, I've seen this movie probably a couple too many times. Don't like where this is heading. And the rest of the day kind of got out of hand from there. Now, again, I'm not here to beat a dead horse. I'm not here to harp on all the negatives. There were some positives, of course, that we highlighted in our postgame on Saturday. Hollywood Smothers was Hollywood Smothers, or Holiday Smoothie, if you will. The best running back in the ACC. We've known this entering the season, and he has proved it all the way through 8 games of play so far. 8 carries for 86 yards and a touchdown. I think the detracting point is only 8 carries, but of course, when the game gets away from you defensively, you basically got to pass your way out of it, even though that did not work either. CJ Bailey on the day, 24 of 40 through the air, 225 on the nose, and 3 passing touchdowns. I'll talk more about the offensive and defensive keys here in just a couple minutes, but CJ, I want to spend a couple minutes on CJ here. I've seen a lot of people talk about this online. I wholeheartedly agree. Since that Duke loss, namely the interception he threw right before halftime, he has not looked like the same quarterback at all. He does not look confident, doesn't look comfortable, just seemingly doesn't have a real good feel for a lot of things right now. I mean, you had multiple 4th down plays where you threw it out of bounds, not even giving yourself a shot to potentially convert it down the field. And we've had our gripes with him doing that through downs 1 through 3, but on 4th down, it's a different equation. If you're going to go for it and you're scrambling out of the pocket looking for a man, at that point, you have to try and make something happen. Even if that results in an interception down the field, you tried. Because one of 3 things that could happen. 1, you complete the pass, which is a first down and a jolt of energy in your offense. 2, you might pick up DPI. That will also move the chains, move you down the field. Or 3, it does get intercepted, but it's down the field, so it's an arm punt. And Kenton talked about that in the Saturday postgame live. That's not so bad. But what is bad is not giving yourself a chance. That means 4th and 2, scrambling out of the pocket and just throwing it away. That's not having a good understanding of where you are on the field, the situational awareness of the down and distance, and of course the scoreboard either. You can't have play like that. And so it just feels like CJ has not been the same quarterback since that interception on the road at Duke. Whether it was offsides or not, he has been rattled ever since. And that's not a good sign, especially now through 8 games. You still have 4 to play, and you have some relatively big games coming up. Of course, this weekend against Georgia Tech. If you want to accomplish virtually anything for the remainder of the season, that confidence factor is going to be a really, really big deal. Last and certainly not least, perhaps our 3rd star of the day was tight end Justin Jolie. 6 catches for 101. The first time he's eclipsed 100 yards in his career. 2 receiving touchdowns and an extremely viral moment at that. He had the Greg Jennings-esque touchdown, as we all saw on social media, gripping at his quad as he limped for virtually 20 to 25 yards and still getting in the end zone. An incredible effort. Of course, we're still waiting to see the availability of Jolie moving forward. We certainly hope that we can use him because, we need him. So certainly hoping and praying for the best there. But outside of those three guys, and maybe a little bit lenient there with CJ Bailey, not much to write home about. Defense could not get a stop all day, quarters 1 through 4. We made out Pitt to look like an all-American offense. We could not stop their wide receivers. The Pitt running game was relatively held in check, especially when you consider a guy like Desmond Reed on the other side. But he was gimping around on one ankle for some of the games, still found a way to get 41 yards and a touchdown out of it. But through the air, I cannot emphasize this enough. When our secondary is completely pillow, marshmallow, insert soft word here, soft. 423 yards through the air for a true freshman quarterback is insane. And we did say that, Pitt clearly must feel very strongly about Heinschel, starting him ahead of Eli Holstein, who was their starter for last year. And I could see why. Heinschel looked awesome. So credit to Mason, credit to the Pitt offense. They did what they needed to do. They put up 53 points on us. Honestly shocked that it wasn't more because they definitely let off the gas there in the third and fourth quarters. But just a brutal effort, an embarrassing effort. And, you know where the rest of that conversation goes, not beating a dead horse on here. Coming up next, I'm going to get into the offensive and defensive reviews against the Keys. This comes after a quick word from our sponsors. Our first Monday sponsor is Gametime. College football is nearly over, which I'm upset about. But the tailgates, the rivalries, and the energy in the stands, we still got a couple more weeks of all of it. Let's be real, though. Sometimes actually getting tickets can feel like more of a battle than the game itself. There's endless queues, hidden fees, and prices jumping off at checkout. That's why I use Gametime. It's the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with zero surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. The app is made super simple, and you can even see your exact seat view in the app before you buy. You know exactly what to expect upon arrival. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets the rest of this season with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, and again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege. LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, Locked On College, for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. Middle portion of our Monday show, time to look back against Kenton's Keys, both offensively and defensively. We'll start with the offense. Our first key we were looking for was a minimum of 17 points scored in the first half. We wanted to get our swagger back, get off to a hot start, and we did actually accomplish that one. We scored 21 in the first half. Problem is, you gave up 31, but nonetheless, the offense was punching back and forth for just a little bit. Justin Jolie got us started with that early 25-yard touchdown. Hollywood Smothers getting busy pretty early as well. You felt like maybe you had a puncher's chance until the defense sort of had other plans for the Wolfpack. But offensively, at least out of the gate, 21 points at halftime will always be a good mark to hit. So you did actually achieve that one. The second offensive key was to have no blood in the water, which meant no turnovers created by the Pitt defense. Did not accomplish that one as CJ Bailey was hit and fumbled while trying to escape the pocket there in the second half. So, however, did not throw any interceptions, and we didn't have any other fumbles on the field. So that was decent at best, but still failed on that one as CJ did have one fumble. And the third offensive key was to take our shots, wanted to generate at least 4+ plays of 20+ yards. We actually achieved this one with ease. Hollywood Smothers had a 65-yard touchdown run. Justin Jolie had a 59-yard reception. Teddy Hoffman had a 30-yard reception. Wesley Grimes had a 37-yard reception. Hollywood Smothers also had a 24-yard reception. So we had multiple explosive plays, but again, when the defense conversely gives up so many explosive plays on the other side, there's only so much good you can do. So you actually did achieve 2 of 3 on the offense. Now switching gears to the defense. The first defensive key, we wanted to hold Desmond Reed to 100 yards total or less. We did technically achieve this one, although we had some help because he was on a bum ankle. Had only 69 total yards of offense, but that is less than 100, so 1 for 1 on defense. Our second defensive key was to force mistakes from Pitt quarterback Mason Heinschel. We're looking for at least 2+ turnovers. Did not achieve that, but we did get 1 interception relatively late in the game by Tristan Teasdale, so you miss on that one. And the third defensive key was to hold Pitt to less than 250 passing yards in the game. You couldn't even do that in one half. They did have 280 at halftime, 423 overall. So you only hit 1 of 3 on the defense. You hit 2 of 3 on the offense. All in all, I'd say that sounds probably about right. Maybe even generous to hit one on defense as you give up 53 points. It was brutal. It was bad. It was abysmal. It was just not what you're looking for in this game or any game moving forward. You certainly hoped at least a little bit that entering a bye coming out of the Notre Dame game, which is one of the better defensive performances of the year, they could build on that. You could take some of the successes from that game, get back in the lab, tweak a couple things, and put together another strong performance against Pitt. Not even close. Not even a little bit, to be honest. Again, just a blowout performance from the defense. You lose by 19 on the road, and here we are hoping and praying that basketball season can start just a day sooner. You have another big game coming up this weekend against Georgia Tech. They are inside the top 10 in the country. It'll be a 7:30 p.m. kickoff in the Carter. You know what they say about those night games. I'm not saying, but I might be hinting at the very least. But those are the offensive and defensive reviews. Coming up next, I'm going to get into my big picture takeaways. This comes after a quick word from our sponsors. Our second Monday sponsor is FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss tip-off and want to ride a hot hand, FanDuel has live bets from everything on who will score the next bucket to all the fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 back in bonus bets if you sign up, place a $5 bet, and that thing wins. So head on over to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Last couple minutes of our Monday show. Time for my big picture takeaways from this 53-34 loss at Pitt. I have a couple, and number one, I think I've already used this on here before. Number one is it's basketball season. If you needed any more reason to be excited about Will Wade and the basketball team, just a complete no-show performance in football, you now sit at 4-4. You have a top 10 Georgia Tech team coming to Raleigh on Saturday. You still got to play Miami. You still got to play Florida State, and you still got to play the Dirty Foot Club. But Will Wade and the NC State basketball team is coming to save the day next Monday, starting off the season against NC Central. That is where all the excitement is. That's where all the eyeballs are going. We love college football at NC State. We wait 9 months a year for it to roll around and begin again. And I think that's why it disheartens a lot of us so much to watch the season go the way that it has. And that leads me into my second big picture takeaway, and that is that college football is nearly over, believe it or not. We only have 4 games left on the schedule. I think there's roughly 5 to 6 weeks left in the regular season. It's crazy to say, and every year it's amazing how fast the season goes by because we wait all year for it. Then it gets here, you're excited, there's games every week, and then you blink like maybe 1.5 times and you're 4-4 staring down the barrel of maybe not making a bowl season. And it's like, oh my God, well, I don't want to wish away the rest of the season, but I also want basketball to start. Once football ends, I'm going to miss it dearly. So my big picture takeaway for the rest of us here, enjoy the bright spots of this team while we have them. That is Hollywood Smothers. That's Justin Jolie. That's CJ Bailey at times. That's our wide receiving core. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to tell you there's a good chance you won't see the majority of those names playing for NC State next year, whether it's by transfer portal or going to the NFL. Maybe there's a coaching change, this, that, and the other. Appreciate what we have while we have them. Hollywood Smothers is putting together one of the most special running back seasons we've seen at NC State in quite a long time. I mean, he's nearing 1,000 yards on the ground. He'll probably end up around 1,500 total when it's all said and done. Truly appreciate what Hollywood Smothers has brought to NC State. Not just that, but he's a great dude. Loves NC State. He loves his fan base. The fan base has latched onto him, and he's shown us a lot of love in return. Appreciate each moment we get with him while we have him. The same goes for Justin Jolie. He's an outstanding kid from an outstanding family. Chose to come to NC State the first time and then chose us a second time when he returns for this season. He's gripping his leg and still running 40 yards to score a touchdown for us. Appreciate greatness while we have it. We don't know what next season's going to look like or any season after that. So for the next 4 games, I implore you, especially that 3 of them are home, enjoy every moment. You have a top 10 team coming to Carter Finley on Saturday. Show up, be loud, and just live in that moment. I know it's so much easier said than done, and I'm guilty of this too. Let's try and not get wrapped up about what NC State's going to do about the coaching situation for the rest of this season. The coaching situation at NC State, that's going to resolve itself in probably a little bit over a month's time. So until then, if we continue to harp on this every week, you're beating a dead horse. You're ramming your head into the same brick wall. You're screaming into the abyss online. Nothing gets done from it. And again, I know. I get frustrated just like the rest of y'all. But we have 4 weeks left with this team. 3 of those games are at Carter Finley, and we all know what that means to us as a fan base. So I implore you all, for the last couple weeks of this regular season, just enjoy every moment. Enjoy being able to watch college football. Like I said, we wait all year to be able to sit down in the Carter or on the couch and watch these games. Don't let a moment go by where you're wishing it away because it's frustrating. That will do it for us here on Monday. Pretty short and sweet. Kenton will be back with us the rest of the week, but that will do it for us here on Monday. Be sure to hit that like button. Drop your comments in the comment box. Mash that subscribe button if you have not already. We'll catch you back here tomorrow on Tuesday for more. And until then, go Pack.